What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you my next 8 reviews as we move to close out the year. Following my review on Veilguard yesterday, we have just about reached the end of my previous version of this video, and as usual, I dropped this to let people know what I've got going on. And with October drawing to a close, it does look like November and December will be a little more calm as far as releases go, which means I'm going to be able to double back to some of the other titles that released this year that I haven't quite made the time for, including a couple of others. But to get this going properly, kicking the list off, we have an in-progress title, so this isn't necessarily part of the rest of the list, but the only game that I currently have left from that previous video is Unknown 9 Awakening, which released back on, I think it was like the 18th, that I did a checkout video for that was sponsored, to be clear, but the actual review is pretty much done. That is to say, I've finished the game and everything. I've just got to write and record everything, so hopefully it won't be too much longer before you see that. Ideally tomorrow, not exactly sure when. Veilguard had kind of eaten up all my time for the past week, so I haven't quite been able to get everything done there. But from there, let's talk about the things that I will be reviewing throughout the rest of the year that actually still have release dates. Starting with Slitterhead on November 8th. This game is an odd one. I honestly don't know exactly what to make of it personally. It reminds me of a few different games like Prototype especially, but in particular this is an action adventure where we play as a Hyoki tracking down these Slitterheads, which are apparently brain-devouring monsters that we'll need to destroy, and we're going to do that by possessing bodies and stuff, so it's just an odd game that looks especially interesting to me, so I wanted to jump into it and try it out, and not much longer to go on that one. Following that, we have Flint, Treasure of Oblivion, mostly tactical RPG from the looks of it, but is mostly about pirates. I've played a demo of this one previously, which I enjoyed quite a bit, as that does tend to be my usual genre of games, and it's got some interesting takes on turn-based combat, of course, and then I kind of want to see how deep the RPG elements there, because there's definitely a little bit of that, at least in the demo that was there, so, whether that's like a big thing or not, I'm not sure. But that's what the review will, of course, be all about. Now, again, that one's out on the 14th, so we shall see. Closing out November, we then have Stalker 2 on November 20th. I would say the mostly highly anticipated sequel to the Stalker series that is seemingly bringing a lot of that formula forward. Now, I will say my one reservation about this game in particular is that from what I've seen of the gameplay previews and stuff, it does kind of look like the game might sort of lack a more purposeful exploration, let's say. That is to say, like, set goals you're trying to meet for the sake of being more open and non-linear. And they've touched a little bit on that with like the factions and, how they'll get up to things with or without you. So whether or not that actually comes together to be like a really interesting situation to watch how stuff plays out has yet to be seen. And I'm just not exactly sold on the idea of that from what I have seen, but hopefully it'll land pretty well. And then for our final new release of the year, we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on December 8th. Another fun looking action adventure. I am kind of curious to see how well an Indiana Jones IP does in this day and age, but mostly I'm just hoping for a laid-back action adventure here that is hopefully, of course, fun, though I do imagine a lot of this one is going to hinge on things like puzzles, which are almost certainly going to be in here, and people always tend to have mixed reactions to those, but with any luck, it'll be good. Now, that's everything for new releases in the end of the year here, but let's talk about a couple of older releases that I would like to get to, starting with Drova. Drova, I think, is best described as isometric Gothic, and it shares a lot of the same systems, and I would say just general philosophies in the sense that you're a character who gets thrown into like some special land barred off from the rest of the world, with people just trying to get by, and it's a very hard place to live and be, and it's got basically all of those systems. And then, of course, the general approach. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I personally wasn't aware of it until after it had released already, so I was a little behind the ball there, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. What little bit I did play of it did seem really cool. Another situation there we have is Visions of Mana. Now, Visions of Mana I initially took a look at also via a demo, and then I didn't have time for it when it actually released, but I've heard a lot of good things about it since it launched and how it, moved the Mana series forward and just all the general art and approach to everything. So I would like to see that for myself and see if I can wind up enjoying that one, as I did like the demo and what I played of it in particular. But that does bring us to our final 2 entries for this particular video, and these titles are certainly a little bit older. First and foremost, we have Dredge. Dredge is a game I've been wanting to play for a while. I have never played it. I heard really good things about it on the release of the game, and I'm kind of aiming for an end of the year review for this one. Right around Christmas, I'll play this one and just kind of chill out a little bit, enjoy the holidays, and see what Dredge has to offer after receiving such a very highly praised release. But that does bring us to our final entry, and I'm not exactly sure where this one is going to wind up, but we have Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 4 is an interesting case in the sense that I have technically already 100% this one quite some time ago, actually. And in fact, if you want to get super specific, Fallout 4 is, I'm pretty sure, the channel's first review ever. However, at that time, all the way back in, I think it was like 2015 still, maybe 2016, I really didn't know what I was doing with the channel or anything like that, so that video is extremely underwhelming, and I honestly think calling it a review is probably generous. So I've been meaning to go back and just sort of redo that one, basically, and after I've played through a lot of the other Fallouts over the years, it's finally time to revisit that one and see how I feel about it these days. Now, I will say that the story was very underwhelming, but I liked a lot of the mechanics and progression systems in particular, so hopefully that will still be the case here. Now, that is pretty much going to do it for this particular video. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. Certainly hope you are looking forward to some of these reviews. If you are, certainly like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. Hopefully you'll stick around for them. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.